Listen and practice. David, the forest man. One day, a very poor village is located at the edge of the forest, and a boy called David came out of his house to gather fruits for food. He noticed that the trees were without fruits, and he went not knowing where his feet were taking him, and he went looking for food to eat or fruits until darkness came. He did not become attentive until he crushed into a huge large tree and paid attention to what was around him and spoke to himself that he was in a place he had not entered before and did not find fruits, but he was tired of searching for fruits and he had to get out of the forest immediately. But how can he go out when the forest is so dark that he has to wait until daylight and maybe find food in this forest to eat anything because he is very hungry? Suddenly, David heard a voice coming from below his feet, a voice of distress. He looked and saw a very deep hole from which this sound came and thanked God that he had not fallen into it. The owner of the distress voice was calling out and saying, "Save me, help, is there anyone who can hear me?" David would not see anything because this hole was very dark, and David said where this sound came from. This human voice had fallen into a hole dug by fishermen. The voice came back again saying, "Get me out of this hole and I will give the one who takes me out 100 gold pieces." But David, after what he heard, would not believe what he heard, and he went to get the branch of the tree while he was tall, and he stretched out his hand and said, "I am attached to this man and I will pull you only if you give me what you promised." Suddenly, David cried out and became angry when he saw a huge wolf jumping out of the hole. David left the branch of the tree shocked by what he saw. David heard again the voice of a man inside the hole saying, "Sir, please get me out of here and I will give you 200 pieces of gold." David was surprised and said, "Who got out of the hole and who fell into it?" David brought the branch of the tree and put it inside the hole, and also left the branch of the tree when he felt that the branch was heavy, and was very surprised because a huge monkey came out of the hole then disappeared. David walked rapidly to get away from this strange place, and he stopped suddenly when he heard the voice of another human being saying, "Save me, brave, and I will give you all my wealth." David said, "Who are you?" And the man replied, "I'm the richest one in the country, and I will give you my wealth when you save me." David took the tree branch after looking for it and threw it into the hole. When he turned back strongly when the branch was heavy, he took the man out of the hole, who thanked David and embraced him. David was waiting for this man's promise to him. He dreamed of owning a palace but told himself to divide the wealth between himself and the man. David said to the man, "When will you give me your wealth as you promised me?" The man said, "Tomorrow, go to my palace in the Green City." The man went thinking that he said this out of fear after he fell into the hole. David slept happy that he would take half of the rich man's wealth. Early in the morning, David rushed to the Green Palace and was greeted by the man with a welcome, and he told him that when he was in the hole he was afraid and death threatened him, and said to him, "I will give you all my wealth, but I will only give you 20 gold coins." David refused to take these gold coins and said, "No, "You promised me this, and you have to give me what you promised me, and I'll take half of your wealth instead of all as you promised me." The man said, "What is this generosity, David?" And the man called out to the guards, saying, "Get this man out of the palace." David came out and said, "I will go to the judge and take my right from you." And in front of the judge the rich man said, "I thank David for saving my life, but this does not mean that I give him all my wealth, but that I give him 20 gold coins." The judge told him to increase the amount and pay him 40 gold coins. David was not talking and took the money, but he opened his hand to heaven and said, "You are a witness, my lord, to what happened, and take my right from this man." God bless David, honor him, and double the amount for him a lot and a lot. One day, there was a cloud that cast a shadow over the rich man's farms, and it was the locust that wiped out the man's farms. He lost his money and regretted what he did because he did not give half of his wealth to David.
Questions. Choose the correct answer.